Hello, the world. Zach McReynolds here of the Sherry Brown and Zach McReynolds team, Next Home Real Estate Rock Stars, Santa Clarita, California. I am here to talk to you today about what is happening in Santa Clarita in regards to real estate, in regards to COVID-19 and the pandemic, and how that is going to affect the real estate market. Is there going to be a crash? There's a lot of speculation out there. I mean, we're hearing lots of things. We're hearing what people are saying or what people's thoughts and opinions are. And I would like to address that, to put my 2 cents in, because speculating what could happen is way different than looking at the numbers and assessing what is happening. So let's look at what is happening right now in Santa Clarita in real estate and try to then predict based on the numbers and what is currently happening, what we should see over the next couple months. So first and foremost, the market is still moving in Santa Clarita. It is April 28th, 2020. We officially went on stay-at-home orders as of the week of March 15th. So it's been a little over a month, 5-6 weeks, right? Real estate was a little strange the first 2 weeks for us because we weren't essential, and then we were deemed essential. And, it was a little tough for us because there are people that need to sell. So, how do you define essential when you have buyers and sellers that need to make a move? So let's start back at the fact that the market is moving. Right now in Santa Clarita, we are seeing 247 in the last 30 days. We have closed 247 homes in Santa Clarita. Our average in Santa Clarita, this is not including Acton and Agua Dulce, the average in Santa Clarita, we're always right around 3,600 sales a year. So literally right around 300 sales a month. So let's just say Santa Clarita averages pretty much month over month, year over year. Obviously, some months are bigger, some months are lower. We average 3,600, we average 300 sales a month. So in the last 30 days, we sold 247 houses in Santa Clarita. This is significant because in the last 30 days, we've been on the stay-at-home. So this is a pretty indicative to what is happening in the market right now. That's an 18% decline over a normal 300 average. Okay, well, 18% down isn't horrible considering we're having a national pandemic where people are out of work and, forced to stay at home and all the things that are going on. So, what does this tell us? Well, right before the stay-at-home, Santa Clarita, and I'm looking purely at Santa Clarita. This has nothing to do with, I'm not even looking at the Valley or Antelope Valley or anywhere else in the world or the country. Literally, I'm talking about Santa Clarita because I live here, I work here. I'm the owner of Next Home Real Estate Rockstars. Sherry and I are the owners. We are the #1 team in Santa Clarita. We sold more houses last year in Santa Clarita than any other agent or team. So I am purely talking about what I know and what it is that we represent and handle. Right before we got put on the stay-at-home, we had less than 300 active homes on the market. We are an incredibly low inventory market. So if we average 300 sales a month and we don't even have 300 houses on the market, then we literally were operating out of not even 1 month of inventory. So what does that mean? And what is the significance of that? Well, they say that anything less than 6 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. So if we're operating at a 1 month of inventory, then we're at a really, really low inventory market and a very hot seller's market. So what does that mean? Where are we at right now? Sorry, just getting this back here. So a seller's market versus a buyer's market, that is dictated by, it's a ratio of inventory versus sales. How much is on the market compared to our average monthly production, right? It's a ratio of those two things. Sorry, I was blocking this. So let's go low inventory and lots of buyers would indicate a seller's market. Not enough houses on the market and too many buyers. There's too many buyers for amount of housing that's on the market. Obviously, this little teeter-totter here shows the opposite of that. Too many buyers, too much inventory and not enough buyers. Watching myself be backwards, it's hard to do that. I think everybody obviously understands this. Look, I'm no economist, but at the end of the day, the only way that pricing is going to come down is if we flip from a seller's market to a buyer's market, or even worse than a buyer's market. So again, if we go back to our averages and we average, if we're averaging 300 sales a month in Santa Clarita on average, and anything less than 6 months of inventory is considered a seller's market, then we'd have to get to 1,800 houses on the market to change from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And that's not even a crash. That's just changing to a buyer's market. We haven't had over 1,000 houses on the market in Santa Clarita in practically a decade. In 2018, we got up to the high 800s on the market, which was the most that had been on the market pretty much since the bubble burst and all the short sale market, all that was going on. So we'd have to get to 1,800 houses on the market just to get to 6 months of inventory and switch to a buyer's market, meaning we'd have to get well beyond 1,800 houses on the market for it to be significant of a crash. Now, if sales are down because of what we're going through, there are still buyers and there are still sellers in the market. So let's say the new norm, that number of 247, let's even take a lower number than that. Let's say we keep depleting the amount of sales that we're going through in Santa Clarita month over month, and we get down to 200. If we get down to 200 average sales a month, then we'd have to get to 1,200 active homes on the market to then change into what would be considered a buyer's market, right? So that's fine. We can keep an eye on that, and we can watch the market. But right now, today, there's only 372 houses on the market. So if 245 or 247, 250 is our new average, that's not even 2 months of inventory. Even if you were to say we're going to continue to see sales go down and we were hovering around only 200 sales a month, it's still not even 2 months of inventory. So with everything going on, there's still buyers in the market buying. There's still sellers in the market selling. There's people that are relocating out of here or relocating to here. There are people that prior to the stay at home had already sold a property and are living with the parents or living in temporary housing or whatever it is, looking for a home because we're in such low inventory market. It was incredibly competitive. We're talking 4 or 5. We had a property that had 13 offers on it. So, if something had 5 offers, there's 4 people that didn't get the property. They move on to another property. That was the market prior to, the stay at home and everything happening and everything's slowing down here. So there is more unemployment, but if the buyer pool was too high and some people are losing their jobs, again, it's just bringing the buyer pool down to something that's less competitive than what it was, but it still would be considered a seller's market right now. I'll just ramble on, and I had a whole thing to stick to. So whatever, obviously I just said this. If we divide 372 houses on the market currently by our rolling 30-day average of 247, we're getting 1.5 months of inventory. We don't even have 2 months of inventory currently right now, over 30 days into the stay-at-home order and the pandemic, meaning we're still very much so in a seller's market. So what does this mean? My point to this is, how can we have a crash? How can pricing come down? How can there crash if there's still not enough inventory to supply the demand, right? Economics is purely about supply and demand. If we don't have enough homes and have too many buyers, then there's no way for pricing to decrease and a crash to come down, because the buyers, there's barely enough inventory to fuel the buyers that are in the market. Now, if a ton of inventory starts to come on the market, look at that, I'm right on pace here. If a ton of inventory comes to the market, meaning a whole bunch of sellers are losing their jobs, or people start to believe that the crash is coming, everyone starts to list their homes to get out of the market, or so many people are losing their jobs that we get an inflated amount of inventory to how many buyers are in the market, then yeah, we could start to see pricing come down. But again, if the stay-at-home is up in essentially the next 15 days, or let's say even a month or whatever it is, we're coming up on May right now. If we're in the thick of it right now and it's only going to get better, then it's hard for me to imagine and believe that 900 houses are going to come on the market in the next 30 days in Santa Clarita to put us at that point of having 1,200 and something houses on the market for the 250 a month buyers that we have. Meaning we need 900 houses to hit the market right now in the next 2 weeks to a month to get to that point of becoming a buyer's market to see pricing even shift. Now, what could be happening right now is we're not getting nearly as many offers above and over asking that we were getting prior to the stay at home, when we had 6, 9, 8, 13 offers on a property and something was going 30,000 over asking. That might not be happening. So there might be a misleading blip in pricing coming down, which would make sense. We were in a low inventory market where some of those prices shouldn't have been going that high anyways, a kind of mini inflated market. So if that settles down and we have just enough houses for just enough buyers, and we won't see the drastic price increases where, you sell for 50,000 over your neighbor because you got 19 offers. That should be eliminated from the market right now. But we're still seeing multiple offers. We listed 3 things last week. All 3 things had multiple offers. So there's still not enough houses and too many buyers, which leads me to believe that the market can't come down. Now, if you extrapolate this out 3 months from now and things aren't better and there's more and more unemployment, then obviously that's a whole different scenario. And if a second wave or whatever some of these thoughts and predictions are that all can affect this, but that's speculating. And what's the point of speculating right now? I'm talking about what's happening right now. Right now, there's too many buyers and not enough houses. And if that trend continues, then we're going to be fine. If the trend flips and we get too many houses and not enough buyers, that's when we'll see a pricing issue, and you will start to see values being affected, pricing coming down. Things are going to sit on the market longer. They're going to be harder to sell, etc. Now, what's more interesting is, I had this one here. So at our current 247 average right now, that means we need 1,400 active properties on the market to switch to a buyer's market. That's not even a crash. What would we need from there? 1,800, 2,000 houses on the market to signify that we're crashing. See, I wasn't sticking to my topics here and just jumping all over the place. This is important too for us specifically in Santa Clarita. There's areas in LA City where they banned home showings, that they're not even allowed to. So, they're still moving properties and people are writing offers based on videos and photos and 360 tours and all that same thing. But here in Santa Clarita, we're operating out of the county and per the governor. So we're still having showings. We listed, like I said, 3 properties. Not this weekend, we just had the weekend prior, and all of them had multiple mini showings throughout Saturday and Sunday. Now what we're doing is staggering showings. We're not allowed to do open houses. So we're not packing a whole bunch of people on one property. We're just saying, okay, you've got a 12, the next appointment's at 12:30 and staggering them out that way. But because of that, I think that's why Santa Clarita market is still moving a little bit. Now, funny that we have an 18% decrease because, Santa Clarita gets a lot of people moving here from Glendale, Pasadena, Burbank, a lot of places where people are getting priced out of the market. So if we're dependent on a lot of those people who are selling their homes there and moving to Santa Clarita, then an 18% decrease, we're probably seeing a lot of people that don't have their properties on the market right now. They can't do showings wherever they're trying to sell to get here. So once these things get lifted, the LA City ordinance gets lifted, we'll probably see a little surge even of more buyers even coming to the market. Now, a really important part of everything that's going on right here and people thinking that we're going to have a crash, it's because people are falsely correlating what's going on right now with what happened in 07 and 08. And the housing market did not cause the recession that we are in or about to be in right now, like it did in 07, 08. The housing market caused the recession because of those bad loan programs and people that were getting loans that never, proved how much income they made, and they didn't really qualify for their homes. They were just trying to get into home ownership, or they thought they were going to ride out a property and make $100 grand on it in a year and sell and make some money. That is not the case right now. The government guidelines, they've been very strict with lending regulations that, I think I got a cute little graph here. This is about home appreciation. So this wasn't the one I was looking for, but it's showing that we've been having a pretty stable home appreciation. There wasn't this ballooning that was going on right before what we're dealing with now, like it did leading up to, the ballooning of the crash in 07. But more importantly, these are home price changes in the last 6 recessions over the last 45 years. And it's start to end. So gray to blue is start to end. And every other recession other than what happened in the 08 collapse due to the housing market, which had a significant downturn in home values, every other recession you saw home values go up. So we can't just correlate what's happening now with 07, 08, because that's the wrong correlation. Let's look at other recessions that happened due to other things. This recession is obviously because of a health pandemic and what's going on and people's inability to go to work or leave their home, and, the turmoil that's causing in the economy because of the virus, not because of housing. So it's more likely that we're going to see an uptick in pricing, and that is literally what we're seeing in the last 30 days. We're still seeing multiple offers. We're still seeing things sell over asking because there are still more buyers than there are houses available, and that's causing price increases. I may have missed a couple of things here. No, I'm actually literally got to the end. How perfect of me. Look, at the end of the day, the takeaway here is we would have to see somewhere around 1,000 to 1,400 houses be available for sale in Santa Clarita to signify a switch from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Now, if the stay-at-home is up in less than 30 days, it is highly unlikely we're going to see 900 houses come on the market, or me and every other agent would, be having 45 people call them to list their home. And there is still movement. But like I said, we're not even at 2 months of inventory, which would signify a very low inventory market for any market, whether we're in a pandemic or not. To not have 2 months of inventory signifies a seller's market and low inventory. So I keep my eye on the market daily. I'm going to MLS 13 times a day, and every time I click on, I go, did 100 more houses come on the market? And that just isn't bearing out. So I don't think that we're going to end up in a bad place, which is good for any homeowners. You want to protect your home values. There are a lot of buyers out there that think that this is an opportunity to get a deal, but if the market's still moving and there's still other buyers out there, this isn't the time to get a deal. The good inventory stuff is still going to go fast, probably with multiple offers, and that's just frankly what we're seeing. So if you have any questions, again, I'm Zach McReynolds from the Sherry and Zach team at Next Home Real Estate Rockstars. I'm always available, phone, email, text, wherever you're watching this. You can probably get a hold of me. If you have any specific questions, I would love to have a chit chat. We could Zoom call and we could talk it out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.